This is Valmiki Ramayan, Season 5, Episode 1, Pampa. Previously, we saw how Ram defeated Khar and freed the people of Dandakaranya from the tyranny of the Rakshasas. In retaliation, Ravan abducted Sita. Ram and Lakshman then set about to find Sita and get her back. It was an enormously difficult task. Sita had been kidnapped by Ravan, the all-powerful king of the Rakshasas, and they did not know where exactly he had taken her. Jatayu had seen Ravan head south from Panchavati. Thus Ram and Lakshman also headed south. But they soon realized that they needed help. And then, looking to ally with Sugriv and the Vanaras, Ram and Lakshman reached the Pampa Lake. And by the banks of the stunningly beautiful Pampa Lake begins the fourth book of the Ramayan, the Kishkindhakand. In the very first sarga, Ram describes the beauty of Pampa in Vasant Ritu, spring. Although for him, there is no joy in all this. Only the searing heartache of Sita's loss, the agony of her abduction. O Lakshman, just look at the crystal clear waters of Pampa. How the wind smacks the water and creates ripples, and how the ripples cause the lovely lotuses to dash against one another. Sita loves lotuses. Her beautiful eyes are just like lotus petals. If I cannot see her, I have no desire to live. The wind comes whistling out of the mountain valleys, shakes the treetops, and then seems to play with the flowers, the fallen ones and those still on trees. The draft carrying the fragrance of flowers feels like Sita's breath. But Esha pushpavaho vayuh sukha sparsho himavaha tam vichintayantah kantam pavaka pratimo mama. This cool, fragrant breeze, which usually feels so pleasant, burns me like fire as my thoughts go to my dear Sita. It is spring, and the forest is resonating with the songs of the birds. But without Sita, the joyous cackles of the water birds torment me. The sweet voice of the koel seems to be mocking me. Look at the peacock dancing, its feathers shining like crystals. Of course, the Rakshasas have not abducted his beloved. He is merrily dancing around with her. And look how the peahen comes joyously running up to him. If Sita had not been taken away, she would have also come to me just like that. Sita loves the Vasant Ritu. And there, the deer are roaming around on the mountain slopes with their partners, happy in each other's company. But they remind me of my doe-eyed Sita, and my heart is filled with agony. Look at all these beautiful trees on the banks of Pampa, entwined with creepers that look like lovely women. And then Valmiki, ever the botanist, gives a long list of trees, bushes, and creepers found in the area. These include Malati, Mallika, Karaveer, Bakul, Champa, Kovidar, Shirish, and Chandan, sandalwood. The trees are laden with fruits and fragrant flowers. The bees are hovering over them. The wind whistles, the birds sing their song, and the bees hum in tune. The trees sway as though they are dancing to the music. But for Ram, these sights and sounds of spring only stoke the fire of his grief. Yani smaramaniyani taya saha bhavanti me tanyeva aramaniyani jayante me taya vina. Whatever was endearing to me earlier when I was with Sita has no charm without her. All this only intensifies my longing for her. Ram is worried sick for Sita. How will she survive this ordeal? Will the grief of captivity overwhelm her? Ram recalls how Sita always stood by him. O Lakshman, Sita supported me when I was exiled and left with nothing. Even in the most difficult times, she would cheer me up with her gentle smile and sweet words. When will I hear that sweet voice again? Vaidehya vakyamatulam kada shroshyami Lakshmana. Sita truly loves me, and I love her too with all my heart. If I cannot see her, my life is meaningless. I cannot live without her. And if I can be with Sita, I will not wish for anything else in the world. Not even Ayodhya. Sprihayeyam na Ayodhyayai.
Ram loved Sita so much, more than anything, even the crown of Ayodhya.
Yes. Remember what Valmiki has told us so far about Ram and Sita's relationship. In Balakand itself, he spoke about the growing love and affection between Ram and Sita. Ram was sensitive and fully devoted towards Sita. For Sita in turn, her husband was doubly dear. Antargatamapi vyaktamakhyati hridayam hrida. They could communicate through each other's hearts, thoughts that were left unsaid. Then in Ayodhya Kand, the day Ram was exiled, Sita had insisted that she too would come along. Yas tvaya sah saswargo nirayo yas tvaya vina. For me, heaven is where we are together, and hell being without you. Sita argued that what Kaikeyi asked of Ram automatically applied to her as well. Sita strongly objected to Ram thinking of her as though she was separate from him. Sita and Ram, Siya Ram, were one. Later, in Chitrakoot, Ram had told Sita, "For me, seeing Chitrakoot and Mandakini and being here with you is more delightful than living in Ayodhya." And remember, in Aranyakand, when Virad had grabbed Sita, Ram had said, "Lakshman, nothing is more painful for me than an unwanted touch on Sita. Not the loss of the empire, nor even father's death had hurt me as much." And later, Valmiki had described Ram's sorrow and anger when Ram first discovered that Sita was missing. He had said to Lakshman, "Yam vina notsahe veer muhurtamapi jeevitum." I cannot live for a moment without Sita. She is dearer to me than life itself. Without her, I do not desire even the lordship of the whole world. And now, Valmiki has described Ram's agony while talking about the beauty of Vasant. This first sarga of the Kishkindhakand is an exceptionally long one. Again and again, Valmiki tells us about Ram's longing for Sita. He seems to be saying, let there be no doubt as to how dearly Ram loved Sita. Iti her asa. That is how it happened.